All right, mics are going up. Good morning, Lagos. Hope you're having a great day so far. Well, it's time for us to go into Freshly Pressed 981 as part of Smooth Breakfast with Valentine.
And Ayo.
Now, this morning, we will be looking at the national newspaper headlines in detail as we have our analysts with us in studio. Good morning, Funmi Odude.
Good morning, Ayo.
Good to have you on the show this morning.
Thank
Good morning,
you.
great to have you. Now you can follow Funmi Odude at Funmi Odude on Twitter if you'd like to engage her further following the conversation this morning or throughout the week. You can also follow us on Twitter at Smooth981FM. Use the hashtag FreshlyPress981 to get your messages in. Now, talking about messages, you can send your messages via WhatsApp as well.
Yes, that WhatsApp number is 0809 Please would like for you to send only messages to that number. Do not call. It's a WhatsApp number 0809 On Twitter, we're at Smooth981FM. Please use the hashtag FreshlyPress981.
We're streaming live on YouTube as well, so please follow us. Smooth981 is a /Smooth981FM, so please follow us. We're live. You can also send your comments via that platform as well.
All right, let's go into the stories this morning. First, Funmi, we'll start with this one from Thisday newspaper. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation yesterday unveiled the guidelines for its crude oil for product swap program. It's known as the Direct Sale and Direct Purchase Scheme, otherwise called DSDP scheme. And they said, well, it's open to people who would like to participate in that. They said really one of the areas of concern or of primary importance is the fact that the people who are participating, the companies who are engaged in this, should provide the premium crude or premium products, crude for product swap kind of arrangement, premium that's low in sulfur that Nigeria really demands. And they said the companies that are allowed to participate will be those established internationally, but have a direct connection with a Nigerian company. But your thoughts on this, please?
Okay, so this is nothing new. This is, should I say, a repackaging of all what we've always done.
Yes.
We once referred to them as offshore crude oil processing agreements. We referred to them as crude for products exchange agreements.
Yes.
This is another nomenclature for it. But basically, what we do is we allocate crude oil to trading companies in exchange for processed petroleum products.
Yes.
And it's something that we have to do to be able to meet our local consumption, seeing that refineries are underperforming. And so, yes, this is, so NNPC is releasing the guidelines for the contracts for the next 1 year. This set of guidelines will govern contracts for the calendar period of 1 year. And it's the basic things that they have stressed with these guidelines, like you've mentioned. Number one is the quality of crude with which will be accepting the premium quality, and then the kind of companies that can apply. From the guidelines that they've set forth, they are looking for two major things. Number one, capacity to produce, and then a link to a Nigerian affiliate.
Yes.
And so they have basically three types of companies that they've said can apply for this scheme. One, an established international end user who owns a refinery with the capacity to process Nigerian crude oil grades and has a Nigerian affiliate or subsidiary experienced in downstream oil and gas business, or that is in partnership with an experienced Nigerian company engaged in downstream oil and gas business. Then also an established and globally recognized large volume petroleum product trading company that has a Nigerian affiliate or subsidiary, and then an indigenous company that is engaged in Nigerian oil and gas downstream activities. So yes, well, it's an extension of what we do. It's, for us, it's supposed to be like a, should I say, short and medium term plan towards meeting our domestic petrol and diesel consumption needs. The long term plan will be to be self-sufficient, which would mean getting our refineries working.
Which would save costs.
Exactly, which will save a whole lot of things. Save cost, save stealing. Because one of the problems we've had with this kind of agreements is transparency issues. Over the years, we've always had NNPC having to do reconciliation with these IOCs and all those companies. Because,
international oil companies.
Yes, yes, and always with them under supplying and all of that. We've always had issues with transparency and reconciliation of accounts. So it will solve a lot of problems if we get there. But we need this in the short and medium term to meet
immediate
needs, our demands as at now. The only problem is how are we working towards the long-term plan, which will be to get our refineries up to optimal performing capacity.
Thank you, Funmi.
All right, thank you very much. And very, very detailed. Thanks a lot for the analysis on that story.
Lagos, remember, you can send me your messages on WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. Let's move on to this next story, Funmi, from the Punch newspaper. Speaking of the runoff election that really was preempted or as a result of the governorship elections declared inconclusive in some states in Nigeria, especially Adamawa, Bauchi, Benue, Kano, Plateau, and Sokoto states that were affected. Now, the National Peace Committee held a meeting and is calling for the parties involved to eschew violence and practice peace and give peace a chance and accept the outcome of the runoff elections, but also seeing that security has been beefed up in those areas. We find that areas that, or rather the issue of sparse security operatives, their presence in some areas, especially the INEC offices. Now, it's a different hill.
Yes.
Take us through this.
You know, you read stories like this, and unfortunately in this country, I'm not sure the presence of security reassures as much as it further frightens us, which is the problem. And one very annoying thing about reruns in Nigeria is it doesn't really, we almost don't expect different results from what we saw in the first set of elections. So the problems are still there, part of which is the partisan activities of our security agencies. Well, I can bet that after these elections, we'll still get reports claiming that the security agencies were acting for party A or party B.
Which has been the widespread accusations, especially
across board. Exactly. And so the fear with we run elections is that whichever party wants the security agencies are leaning towards, they get to now focus, as opposed to the time when they were spread all through the elections. Now there are focused areas in some states, just a few local governments and all. And so the sort of feels like, okay, now I can use more might and more power to do what I want to do. And so we need to go back and check our electoral process. It's the electoral process as it stands is not satisfactory in any form. And the evidence of it is the fact that we have to have this much security to vote.
Yesterday in the House, they decried the military the House of Assembly. They decried the militarization of the elections.
Process,
I know that Senator Dino Melai had moved that motion to speak about it.
And to speak about it, we speak a lot about what the security agencies themselves do, but partly part of the blame also is what the politicians do. And so we need this security because we sort of expect thuggery and all sorts of election violence, snatching of ballot papers and all of that. So the blame is not only on the security agencies per se. We need to review the entire process, and it also has to do with the fact that political parties and campaigning and electioneering has so much of this activities, these violent activities related to it. So it's a problem. It's something that we need to half of the time all this our coming to speak about let's ensure peace and all of that. It really is not practical when you hear about what happens in some states. I don't even want to talk about River State, but really we need to go back and check. It's too expensive and it's obviously not working. I mean, if you have to have this amount of security to vote, we have a problem.
The army seems to have responded to the widespread criticisms and blame game that's been traded towards their corners, especially through its general commanding officer of the 8th Division, Nigerian Army Sokoto branch, Major General Hakim Otiki, who said unequivocally that no soldier, in his words, and I'm quoting him, he said, "You must not get involved. No soldier must be found in the town with uniform without my permission." And this is speaking to the soldiers themselves who are being used by politicians. But anyway, let's move on. Remember the rerun for these states that have been mentioned, as talking about Benue, Kano, Plateau, Sokoto, Bauchi, Adamawa, will be held this Saturday. Lagos, let's take a few messages.
All right. Oluwaleke here says crude had over 15 byproducts. When we give it, we will get value and not just kerosene, petrol, and diesel.
All right. And the next message here is from Okesonjo Akim. He says, National Peace Committee needs legal backup so their decision can hold water once the parties concerned have signed.
Henry Dixon says if it's not a complex process, if this is not a complex process, will it not be good for us to have one of our own refinery working to full capacity level? Or for how long are we going to get another country helping us cooking our food? I tire for Niger.
And Kudus here says from Surulere, the guidelines for the DSDP agreements, DSDP being the direct sale and direct purchase agreements by the NNPC, says that it is to enable us to meet our immediate and short-term petroleum product needs is not the problem at all. The devil is in the transparency of the process, like Funmi said. The petroleum industry is one of the most corrupt sectors of the Nigerian economy. I wonder why it is not making the top lead in the ranking of corrupt sectors like the police and the power sector are currently being ranked. Maybe because the corruption there is a high level. He said. Let's move on to our next story from the Guardian newspaper. Buhari declines assent to Digital Rights and Freedom Bill, amongst others. Now, Nigerian President Muhammad Buhari declined assent to the Digital Rights and Freedom Bill and 4 other bills that are forwarded by the National Assembly. The other bills include the Nigerian Film Commission Bill, Immigration Amendment Bill, Climate Change Bill, Chartered Institute of Pension Practitioners Bill, and Digital Rights and Freedom Bill. Well, his reasons, some of his reasons, he says that it's a duplication of functions, and some others say, it's some of the details are really, lack of a better word, a bit too cumbersome.
Well, so yes, the reasons were stated, and frankly speaking, I find the reasons very cogent.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Very,
I was quite impressed when I saw
very
cogent research.
So let's start with the Digital Rights and Freedom Bill. So the bill that was transmitted was supposed to be for an act to provide for the protection of human rights online, to protect internet users in Nigeria from infringement of their fundamental freedoms, and to guarantee application of human rights for users of digital platforms and or digital media and for related matters. This obviously is very important. But what the president had issues with is that the technical subjects in the bill, in the proposed act, which would include surveillance, digital protection, lawful interception of communication, and digital protection, are also subjects of various bills pending. And that the subjects were not covered for extensively in the bill. So it sort of is there, but you're not really providing anything. You're not really saying anything. And so he's saying, well, if this bill is supposed to be for protection of human rights, let's limit this bill to that and provide extensively for that in this bill. So yes. With respect to the Nigerian Film Commission bill, he highlighted some sections of it that he feels will be in conflict with already existing laws, including a part of the bill that provided for 5% VAT to be applied to a National Film Development Board, and he's saying that, well, there's already a law that provides for the way that VAT should be applied and all of that. So he highlights certain parts of the bill that he feels are in conflict with existing laws, which is a very strong point. With respect to the Chartered Institute of Pension Practitioners Bill, it says the objects of the bill are similar to an already existing institution, the Signified Pension Institute of Nigeria. So why are we creating another one? And this is one of the ones happy about, because we always say that we create duplicate bodies and start creating confusion all around the place.
So rather than create another one, why not fix what is already
what
on
is
ground?
wrong with if there was anything wrong with that one, why don't you upgrade it in the sense? And then the immigration bill, which is the one I would really like to see, because he talks about a particular section which he says would, if applied, will have retroactive effect and will be destructive to Nigerians in diaspora if other countries were to reciprocate the same provision in their own laws.
Forward thinking.
So these are very strong points. So it's for the National Assembly, it's not an outright rejection. He has highlighted the provisions that he has issues with, and if the National Assembly and the committees that will look particularly into those bills look into it again, let's see if anything can be done before the 8th National Assembly.
Funmi, I mean, taking you back just very briefly to that digital rights bill, I like the way the response was couched. It's because from the way the bill was presented in the first instance, it seemed like more attention was being placed on clamping down on activities on social media, online, but he retracted, well, rather corrected them and said, you should actually pay more attention to protecting the rights of the citizens.
Which is what you said the bill will be about anyway. So,
all right.
Well, next story actually. So the next story from Premium Times: FEC approves 5 new cleanup contracts for Ogoni land, and this one is coming from a result of the Federal Executive Council meeting that sat for 7 hours. They said they've approved 5 more contracts, which are different from the earlier 16 contracts, existing 16 contracts. They said this particular one, the 5 contracts, is valued at 3.039 billion naira. Your thoughts on this?
Okay, so we've been there's been a lot of clamor for the cleanup after the government has promised it that it would eventually start. So yes, I think this is a positive step in the right direction. It says that 16 contracts were awarded earlier, but those were within ministerial tender boards, and so the 5 that was approved are above the ministerial tender boards that require the approval of the FEC. So this is the first step. The actual step is actually now seeing those contracts being executed after payment. Approval is one thing. The money to be disbursement is another.
Implementation.
And then implementation. So this is the first step. The step that would get everybody excited is when we see actual work being done.
All right. Thank you very much, Funmi. We'll just say Oluwaleke is saying, wow, PMB now has a team that reads.
With a lot of
regards to the response.
Oluwaleke, thank you for sending that one.
All right, we'll go on to our next story here. And Fashola, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, has said that bad roads not cause of accidents on highways. I think it's important to clarify what he said, so that people, because the headline is a bit misleading. He says that he actually said, and not always due that avoidable accidents that highways are not always due to bad roads as claimed by road users. Funmi, please take us through this.
As much as you want to clarify, still.
Fix the roads.
Thank you. Especially when it's coming from somebody that is empowered, responsible for fixing the road. It looks like you're shifting the blame. And so it's not wrong in the sense that we have problems with speeding. We have problems with recklessness of the drivers. We have and all of that. But you can't remove the factor of the bad roads from the accidents that occur. So it just looks like you're trying to shift responsibilities, sort of. And it always goes back to, and this is one of her, should I say, best ministers so far.
Yes, in regards to his track record and what he's currently doing in the ministries.
But it always has to do with how we speak. Our leaders really have that issue in Nigeria. So it's, well, okay, there are a number of factors that but you can't remove bad roads.
So the reason why I had to clarify that was when we said rules that bad roads are not top of the list when it comes to accidents, because drivers are actually responsible largely. So with regards to speeding, not looking inattentive when driving and little things like that. However, like you mentioned, we cannot take the responsibility away from the government as well, as potholes in particular are notorious, and broken, and uneven surfaces are notorious for causing accidents for drivers as well.
So I like what you just said, but then again, I'm thinking, why is it called a highway?
If you're not
allowed to speed.
No,
there's speed limits. So when they say you're speeding,
upper and lower speed limits,
yes,
right?
if they say you're speeding, that means you're driving above the speed limit for that particular road.
I get it, but I mean, downplaying that. Imagine the emotions that would trigger in the hearts of those who've lost loved ones on this road. How do you, I'm not
in other countries, right? You would find out the reason why an accident occurred. So if it's your fault, you would either have your license revoked and you face the penalty in court. And if it's the government, there are many lawyers who are even looking for accidents that are caused by potholes so that they can sue the government.
Yeah,
and
but the countries that you're mentioning, the government work, the systems work. They have good roads. They have lights.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, I'm not absolving the government of responsibility. I'm just highlighting the fact that we must all take collective responsibility for what happens on our roads and not just always blame the government for what happens. So I'm not,
And should I say that sometimes the reckless driving can also be from bad roads?
Yes.
From all their
trying to avoid running one way or what,
and lack of light. How we drive in Nigeria at night is still
it's a miracle. All right, let's move on. I know some comments will come through with regards to this story. Now, in this day newspaper, Nigeria loses $400 million annually to foreign software developers. Now, according to them, Nigeria spends this amount annually from foreign software license renewal without recourse to indigenous software that could perform the same task. So why not look inwards before buying outwards?
This problem is in every sector, basically. Every sector is fighting with foreign competitors, so to speak. But in this particular sector, it looked like NOTAP had been doing things over the years. So NOTAP, in collaboration with WIPO, which is the World Intellectual Property Organization, the central bank, and other stakeholders, had actually developed a local vendor policy in 2007 to strategically engage local ICT firms in the implementation of software agreements in Nigeria. So when you go to register your agreement with NOTAP, a software development agreement, they must see that a local vendor is appointed to implement that software and license agreement in Nigeria. So they had, from 2007, they had tried to integrate the local vendors in the ICT space in Nigeria, which was a very good move. But now, they're complaining that we developed this softwares ourselves. Why not choose our softwares? As with everything else in every other industry, it always boils down to capacity. How good
and quality.
Yes, and quality. Yes. How good is this product in comparison to others?
Yes.
And this was the point made by the CEO of CWG PLC, Adewale Adeyipo, when he says that indeed Nigeria has a robust knowledge institution, but technologies that are emanating from these institutions cannot sustain industrialization in the domestic economy. And I know that a lot of emphasis was placed on the financial institutions. And when you consider how much those financial institutions have to be wary about likely breach, the kind of security that they need for their software programs and applications, you can't really blame them when they're looking for top notch. So it's good that we create policies to integrate local vendors in respect of this, but the other part of it is also increasing our capacity level as well as vendors.
And then the financial systems giving them the right, the enabling environment to operate. Yes.
All right, let's take a few comments before we move on to our next set of stories.
Annie Ota says, please, Fashola has not performed. All the federal roads in Ogun State are terribly bad. Electricity is zero. Nobody should tell me he has performed. And then we have this one from BC from Surulere. It says, it's good to hear this type of response from the presidency. Communication is key. I agree with Ayo. You need to see the way downfall drivers speed on Third Mainland Bridge in the afternoon where there's no traffic jam. I pray for hold up sometime while I'm in the downfalls. They scare me. Felix Ayawu says, most accidents happen because of overspeeding and some due to bad roads. Drivers tend to overspeed on good roads than on bad roads.
All right, thank you very much for your comments. Move on to this one. I'm very interested in this story for me. Yesterday was International World Happiness Day, and Nigeria tops 71 countries. I like the spin on this story, very positive, Daily Times. So they mentioned the amount of countries we are topping in latest global happiness rankings. So just to put a summary to that, Nigeria ranked 85 out of 156. So we didn't quite make half, but the report spins it in such a way that unlike last year when we were 91, we ranked 91. This year we're actually 85.
So it's more like, oh, mommy, I came second. Okay, how many students are in the class? We are just 3.
My parents will say, how many people passed you? So if you took second, what happened to the first guy?
Yes, so we're still happy people, relatively, should I say. How we got 85th is beyond me, because when I look at the indices that they I mean, they say they look at 6 key variables that support well-being:
Yes.
income,
Yes.
freedom, trust, healthy life expectancy,
Yes.
social support, and generosity. And
It's
I'm
generosity that must have given us that would have
That's
scored us high.
Generosity in respect to what?
We are generous
How
people
did
in
they even get
Nigeria.
85? Like, I
In
need to
fact,
look at the
The
countries that
first few
below.
items, the first few
Alright.
items you called trust and all that, I was just in my
But-
head, I was sticking
alright,
0, 0,
Okay,
0.
but when you also look at it, they say that what stands out about the happiest and most well-connected societies is their resilience and ability to deal with bad things.
Yes.
And that we have in Nigeria. I mean,
On Twitter.
daily
Daily.
we deal with when you consider the poverty level in Nigeria and
Yeah.
how we are able to sustain and all of that, we really do. If it was an index of the most resilient people,
Well,
I mean,
Fela
we'll
put-
be first.
Fela
I'm sure.
puts it nicely when he said we're suffering and
And
smiling.
smiling,
However,
yes.
that's not ideal. We have countries in the top. So we're asking which country came number one. Finland came number one. And I have to do a quick reset. Like, okay, last year they were number one. This year they're number one. Why are they so happy? You know,
I thought your research was on if you were allowed to, if you
migrate.
need to apply for
No.
visa to get there.
But the
or
top
something.
10 countries
Yeah.
include a number of Scandinavian countries.
Okay.
New Zealand notably was on the top, was part
Oh,
of top 10.
interesting.
And they said it's because it's not just because they've gone through attacks, but the response to the
Yes.
attacks. And we must all commend
Yes.
them, New Zealand
Yeah, when
and
you
its
hear,
government.
if you had listened to the speech of the Prime Minister, you won't be surprised.
Yes.
I mean,
When she said
that was
she
that
refuses
response
to name,
was
name the
response
terrorists.
was enough to inspire confidence in every citizen.
Absolutely. Well, the unhappiest in the world are Sudan. Sudan is number one. Central African Republic, Afghanistan, Tanzania, and Rwanda are some of the unhappiest countries in the
So
world.
Nigeria, those are the countries you beat.
That
Wow.
you beat. So how happy are you, Nigeria? Maybe that's the big question for this morning. Our final story here: broadband penetration rises to 33% by February. This report is in the Premium Times. Now, this statement is coming from the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Umar Dan Bata. Fumi, just please help us
Quickly,
with this.
why is this important? Because access to internet internet services
Yes.
is actually key right now in terms of education, in terms of enlightenment. And my only problem in Nigeria is that most of the broadband penetration, understandably for the companies that need to make money, are focused on urban centers. And so we don't have a lot in the rural. And if we want to increase literacy, if we want to reduce ignorance and illiteracy, this is something that we must look into. So yes, we are glad with this report, but let's look for ways to do better.
And then again, I'm concerned as to what governments might be doing to make it more affordable, available to people who might not be able to afford it. because it's
Affordability
expensive.
is key.
Yes,
It's
And-
the major problem we're having, even with the so-called urban centers where the penetration is a lot more.
Again, quality, capacity. It's not. I mean, it's not enough to talk about how much more we use. We have access to data and broadband. It's also the quality. A number of individuals and organizations complain about the fact that
They
the
pay high
service
premium for it, but
for
it's
service that is not
unreliable.
so great.
Yes. Modupe on Twitter said, thanks for the breakdown of the reasons why Buhari declined assent to those bills. Very educative. While the popular thing is usually to criticize this administration, it is good to give kudos where kudos are due. Hashtag
Well done,
sir.
sir.
And this one is coming from Kunle in Lekki. He says, I've been asking my company software developer to make our ERP accessible online. He hasn't for a year. To access data, you have to be physically present in the office. Would you blame me when I go get a foreign vendor that has that feature? If Nigerian software vendors do not step up their game, businesses would always pick foreign ones that are cheap and more convenient.
Right, on ICT, NJ says this: remember Ramita and the Dino Saga? We had a people we need to, we as a people, we need to be objective.
All right, and this next one is in from Ayodele. Says the issue of having excellent software developers starts from having our universities and Institute of Technology having 21st century curriculum.
Yes.
Thank you. Chris Ekago says the Nigerian happiness formula is a simple one. Focus on the next initiative. And Big E from Kitty.
He says we're suffering and smiling in this climb. Our governments are making us unhappy. Finland is always happy with love.
And Mansour says we're not happy people. Can you imagine? Can you see the bitterness on the road? It's more of suffering and smiling and pretense.
All right, Isaac from Keja says we suppose they're top 20 because we still find a way to chill after their annoying day. We're not top 20. Annoying day with them.
Top 85.
All right, we have to go away. But Finland is actually doing after they came first this year, they're doing a program whereby they are inviting 8 people to come and spend time with their nationals to see what makes them happy, so you can take that learning back to your home country.
So they can
you see why they are such happy people. All right.
So sit around Nigerians, you'll be happy. Don't worry.
All right, Lagos. That's all we can take on Freshly Pressed 9.